Oh, it's you again.
What you doing out there, Sonny? Collecting cards? Well, outstanding.
All right. I got a new dream card. Just came in the mail yesterday, and I'm going to show it to you. Ho ho ho! Ho ho! The man. Oh, man. Is that sweet? I mean, look at that. Let's check out the back. Let's check out the front again. I mean, this stunner came along. $975, buy it now. And I went for it. In a Vintage Greatness 3. The centering, just an overall really pleasing look. I mean, I couldn't be happier. Now, could I have gotten a 3 for less money? Absolutely. So I paid a premium, but to me it was worth it. And this card goes a long way toward eventually completing a Stan the Man run, at least as far as his Bowman and Topps cards go. And I also have his 49 Leaf, and I've got, a few other Stan the Man cards, not too many, but I've got his 54 Red Heart. And so this is just a huge, huge addition to my Stan the Man collection. And I am super stoked. Super stoked. A young Stan. And what a look. What a look. And kind of that soft black and white photography. Just something super nostalgic here with this one. And let me tell you how I got this. Let me see if I can get this to focus here. Let me tell you how I got this. So I've decided to split my hobby money in half each month and put half of it away for, a bigger card like this one, and then half of it for more regular, typical purchases. And I think that's, we're going to see, the jury's still out. We're going to see how that goes for me or if I'm able to stick with it. But so far, this was my first big purchase since adopting that approach. I think it's going to work pretty well because I've got recorded the amount that's in, the big card purchase budget. I call it Tier 1. And then Tier 1 cards, this was one of them. And then the rest of it in my regular hobby budget. And just the act of having it recorded that way in my Google sheet where, some of the money is in the Tier 1 card fund and it's building up over time. And when I bought this card out of that fund, that left $225 in that fund. So right now I've got $225 in my big card fund. I've got $216 in my regular card fund. And so, technically I have around $450, but I'm not thinking of it that way at this time. I'm thinking of it as, a couple $100 in my regular fund and then $225 in the big card fund. And then every month, that big card fund will accumulate until I buy a big card like this, and then that's going to chop it down some. And I think this will help me, to get some bigger cards and not just always be getting smaller purchases. Now, I actually think I've done a pretty good job of getting bigger cards over time. During the pandemic craziness, when I was able to sell some stuff, some coins, some other cards I had, not vintage baseball cards, for big profits just because of, how crazy it was at the time. I tended to take that money and put it towards bigger cards. So I think I've done a pretty good job with that. Not that somebody has to buy bigger cards, to each their own, but I want to get some of the bigger ones so that I can, complete some player runs, so that I can possibly maybe do a few Hall of Famer runs on certain sets. And so those bigger cards set me up, like the 54 Topps Hank Aaron. That sets me up if I want to do a 54 Topps Hall of Famer run. It sets me up if I want to do a Hank Aaron run. This card right here sets me up if I wanted to do like a 48 Bowman Hall of Famer run. This is probably the most expensive card in the set. Then you've got Yogi Berra and some others, but I guess those are probably the big two in this particular set. So yeah, that's my plan. It's a simple plan to add dream cards, and that is just cut your hobby budget in half and keep it separate, keep it recorded, and let the one half build up, and then get your dream cards or your tier 1 cards or whatever you call them, your more expensive cards that are outside of your ordinary typical purchases. And in that way, you're not always just, getting the less expensive cards and never getting the more expensive ones that can kind of, add to your overall collecting goals. And so I think this is going to work pretty well for me, but we're going to see. And how about one more look at this beauty before we sign out? I mean, here at the Vintage Sanctuary, it is Standemonium right now. I mean, this card is just outstanding. Wow. 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 All right. I hope you had a wonderful and peaceful time in the Vintage Sanctuary. Would love to hear your thoughts below. Take care, my friends.